You have 3 children. Seem like a young guy. When did you have the first one? How old?
Well, she was conceived when I was 17, but she was born when I was 18.
Teenage father.
Yeah.
Teen dad. You were still in school?
Yeah, I was at the time. I actually, I was into a lot of shit, in high school and shit. Just going through different shit in life, really. And, I ended up catching an armed robbery case and shit. And I ended up going to jail. My daughter was actually born while I was in jail, so I really missed it all, really,
Mm.
And so, yeah, it was something that was hard for me, but my other 2 kids, I didn't miss at all, but I don't know, just crazy life scenarios, how things turn out, you know what I mean? You would never expect, but I was making some not so good choices at the time, you know what I mean? So, I can't, so it was my fault, you know what I mean? So I can't really,
When you found out you were having a child at 17 years old, what were you thinking?
Shit, I wasn't ready, but like I said, there was a lot of stuff going on at the time, financially and different things like that, so, it's kind of already hard. I'm trying to do, basically take care of myself, so, to hear that I got a daughter on the way, or a baby on the way, I was like, only thing I could really think of that I'm not gonna be like my dad, you know what I mean? So that really was the thing and shit, and, I just knew I had to get my shit together,
Mm.
And, at the time, I grew up with wrong influence, and like my first job I ever had, I was 16, and like they kind of like played me and shit. I got hired with they hired me without an ID and shit, you know what I mean? And at that time, I had never had an ID ever. I was 16. I had never had a job. I had never really needed a reason to have an ID. I didn't have no driver license or no shit like that. But I needed this fucking job. You know what I mean? So I ended up they hired me without a job, and I worked there for about a month. I was getting like little tips here and there and shit, like doing like busboy shit, And I don't know anybody who ever worked busboy jobs, that shit's not just an easy little simple fucking job, you know what I mean? Like you really busting your ass for nothing really, you know what I mean? And we stood up all fucking day, you know what I mean? And I'm here for hours from at least, 4 o'clock after I got out of school to about 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? At night and shit. And it was like every day, you know what I mean? Sometimes I get off at like 1 something or something like that, but yeah, they kind of like end up firing me after I didn't have an ID, after I didn't, well, after I got my first check, mind you, it was only like $100 and something, And, I never had a clock-in card at all either. So, my manager or whoever, she basically putting down these whatever hours she basically want to put, you know what I mean, type shit. And, I just had a bad experience with having a job. And so after they fired me, I was kind of just fucking devastated, really, you know what I mean? Like, you motherfuckers hired me without an ID and then fired me for not having an ID, or whatever and shit. When I already got the fucking job, y'all know, you know what I mean, whatever, I bring everything else besides that, you know what I mean, or whatever, and so, like I said, I was 16, so around the time my daughter was coming, I was kind of like, fuck a job, you know what I mean? I'd be damned if I go try to find another job for it to be like this, you know what I mean? That was my first time having a job, not knowing that, it's not gonna be like that, you know what I mean? But that was my experience at the time, so my mind frame at the time was like, that's something that I'm not gonna do, you know what I mean? So I was hustling and shit, you know what I mean? And shit happening with that, not going too good. Really me getting into my OG and shit, you know. I'm in her crib and I'm doing all this different shit, you know what I mean? And so she kind of was on my back about a lot of shit, you know, as she should be, you know what I mean? And so I found myself out there, end up with, you know, doing some of the shit that I was influenced by. And so, you know, just learning experiences, you know. As hard as that is, you know, we get to live, we get to get past it, you know, so, you know, I don't complain, but, you know, it was something, at that time, that was my mind frame. I gotta do something to make sure that I can get somewhere, you know, but I just had the wrong way of going about doing it at the time, you know.
They had arrested you for an armed robbery?
Mm-hmm.
What ended up happening with that situation?
Well, at the end of it all, I ended up getting my class dropped, because at first it was a Class X, you know, and so on a Class X, you know, it's a 85%, you know, where I'm from, and so, you know, it was my first case or whatever, so they offered me 8 at the time, so they ended up going down to like 7.5 or some dumb shit, and so I would have ended up doing like maybe 5.5, 6 years maybe, you know what I mean, before I got the fuck out of jail. But I ended up, you know, just fighting it for about a year, and they ended up dropping my class down, and so I was it was probationable, and being that it was my first case, it was probationable, you know, and so I ended up getting 4 years probation for the shit, you know, after being in there for a year and shit, and it's crazy because, you know, I robbed a person, you know what I mean? And the person that I robbed ended up being a pastor, you know? And shit. And he ended up actually coming to court for me in my behalf or whatever, and basically trying to lighten my sentence. And, you know, after that, you know, I also had to do like mentor hours with, you know, my probation and shit, and I had to do them with him, you know. And so I ended up, you know, getting, you know the person that I robbed, you know what I mean, and shit. It was so crazy though and shit, but that's actually my fucking homie today, my man's today, you know what I mean. And it's so crazy because, you know, a lot of people, you know, he was a white man, and you know, you would think that, you know, it would be his reaction would be the total opposite, you know. But he was a man of God, you know what I mean? So he know forgiveness, and he know. And, you know, I got to talk to him, and he actually got me my first real job, you know what I mean, after I got out of jail and shit. And, you know, it's just crazy how shit turned out, how stuff turned out that way, you know, like, I'm real big on God, you know what I mean? More than I really ever been now, you know, and shit, and, you know, like, situations like that, you know, I had a lot of different situations in my life, different scenarios and different things to learn from, you know, and that's one of them that really, you know, opened my mind to a lot of things, especially how to be able to forgive somebody, you know what I mean, and know that people make mistakes, you know what I mean. Just was, you know, and I was young too at the time, so it was really a big lesson for me, you know. And what's so crazy, you know, I ended up getting shot before, and, you know, I had not been in touch with him for years, you know. And, you know, I'm not proud, got back in the streets doing, you know what I mean, you know, life still go on after certain things, you know what I mean. You know, I ended up getting shot, and he actually he didn't have his church no more and shit. And so he was doing like working chaplain and praying for people at the hospital. And so while I'm in ICU, you know, you only get to have like a certain amount of people come to ICU or whatever. So my mom come in one day, and, you know, and I look up and I see him, you know, and the shit made me start crying, you know. And it wasn't like, you know, I'm not no soft person at all, you know what I mean, but just to think of all the shit that had happened from that time to now, you know, and for this to be how I see you again, you know, out of all the shit you know, and like, you know, I got shot from somebody trying to rob me, and to see him and shit, you know, that's like my first time, you know. I mean, I would have never planned on crying about the shit, you know what I mean? But just when I seen him, it just was like, damn, you know, God know how to smack you in your face with shit, you know what I mean? And it was just a big ass recollection, you know, seeing him like, damn, you know, I fucking robbed you, you know, even though, you know, I didn't have no intentions of, you know, hurting him, hopefully, you know, at the time, you know, I didn't plan on it, but, you know, it didn't go that way either, you know, but, you know, to know that, you know, a situation like, you know, like that can bring a motherfuckers back together somehow, you know, in some type of weird ass way, you know, this was crazy for me and shit. But yeah, that's my homie to this day though. Like, I fuck with him hard, real hard, you know. Like, he's somebody that, he changed a lot of my ways of thinking, you know. That shit was crazy.
The dynamic of this story is extraordinary.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know, like me and Tony, you know, me and him, we've been friends like ever since we was kids, you know. He got different beliefs than I got, you know. I'm like real big on the Bible, I'm real big on Jesus, you know what I mean? And it's certain things that happen to me in my life that, you know, reality things that lean me this way. You know what I mean? God, should I say, the God of that Bible, you know, has proven himself to me in so many ways, you know what I mean? So it's just really like scenarios of things that happen to me that nobody can explain for me, you know, that let me know that, you know, he made sure that he let me know that he's real, you know what I mean? In my life, I can't speak for nobody else, but, you know, that's my man, you know what I'm saying? So I'm living proof today from all this, you know, I'm here with you is something big for me, you know what I mean? Like, we've been doing this rapping shit so long, and you know, it has been times I wanted to quit this shit, you know what I mean? Like, this shit's not doing nothing, you know what I mean? Like, it just was a point in time, you know, it's not doing nothing for me, you know, I'm going through so much shit. And got to result to all these different things, mind you. I done tried everything. I done worked. I done went to school. You know, for some reason, somehow, shit just don't fucking work out for me, you know. But patience, you know. It took a time. Like, I used to rob people and shit, you know. And I stopped myself from doing that shit, you know what I mean? Just really, you know. With God too, God was really a big thing with it, you know what I mean? Just robbing motherfuckers, not knowing who you taking from or what, you know what I mean? What they doing, whatever they doing for, you know what I mean? Because I was never like a petty motherfucker, you know, I never just, like, that situation with him was the only time I ever robbed a person on a person, you know what I mean? Like, other than that, you know, after that, if I did, you know, I was home invading, you know what I mean? Like, it was real, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I just had to fall back from this shit, you know, like, it wasn't the way I wanted to live my fucking life, you know what I mean? I was not feeling this shit, and I just started hustling hard as I ever did, you know, even, you know, we still was doing the rap thing and shit, but it still was, you know, slow progress or whatever, you know, but eventually, you know, I just stopped all the shit and just was trying to be as smart as I can, as patient as I can to make sure that I can be around for my kids, you know what I mean? Like, me doing anything other than what I'm doing now can potentially take me from them. And I can't have it, you know what I mean? I can't have it. And so.
This pastor, he's still in your life?
No, I haven't spoken to him really since. I seen him then in the ICU, and I had not spoken to him for a while before then. I do plan on reaching out to him and trying to, you know, find where, because I really don't know where he's located. You know, I can hopefully maybe run into him and find him at the hospital, but You know, I'm gonna try to look him up and find out, you know, what's going on with him and shit. But I'm pretty sure, you know, when I meet, you know, when I see him, it's always the same love, you know. So, you know, I think about him though a lot of shit. Hoping, pray for him a lot, you know, hoping that everything's going good with him, you know. But no, I haven't spoken to him in a while.
I'm curious to see what he would think about your music.
I don't know, we used to talk about it then, you know. Cause like I said, we were still doing music then and shit, and so, you know, he, like I said, like, it's crazy the understanding that a person to have, you know, not being biased towards you, you know what I mean? And you would think that, being that he a pastor, you know, like my mom, she don't do none of the cussing, like she don't like to listen to our music for certain reasons, you know what I mean? But she do just to hear what we talking about, you know, and she love it, you know, still, you know, but, you know, she understand it, you know what I mean? And so he pretty much the same way, I believe. Like we used to talk about it a lot, and he knew what I was doing, you know, what I was trying to do, so, you know, he always just gave me encouragement, you know, about it, you know, just keep doing it, you know what I mean? And I don't know. He never I'm pretty sure he haven't heard everything, you know what I mean? But around that time, you know, he understood what was going on and where we was coming from, and, you know. So, you know, he was just encouraging about it mostly.
Mm. Somebody watching this might be able to help link you with that person. I don't know if you want to say that person's name or anything on camera, but okay, keep it private.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you had your first child, being a teenage father, well, let's talk about the jail situation. So you're locked up. The baby is born. Okay, so at what point during the pregnancy do you actually get locked up? How far into your baby mother being pregnant do you get locked up, if you can even recall?
It probably was only like
3 months in, 6 months in?
About 2-3 months maybe, if that.
And you were locked up that entire time?
Yeah, I didn't get out of jail until February the next year. And so she was, it probably, I got locked up, no, it wasn't 3 months, it was a while. It had been a while. So probably like almost six months.
6 months into the pregnancy,
yeah.
That's when you get locked up. Were you able to bond out? Was there an opportunity to bond out, I should say?
I mean, yeah, it's always an opportunity, but it's just if you can meet the bond, you know what I mean? My bond at the time was 100,000, 10%, 10,000, you know what I mean? So, you know, me or none of my homies had it at the time, you know what I mean? So, shit, I was in that motherfucker. Shit.
Well, some people are held without bail, but you had a bail. It just couldn't financially get taken care of.
Yeah.
Did they ever reduce the bail? Is that how you were able to get out?
No, the bond was actually reduced from 200,000 to that, you know. And but no, I never was able to post bail or got no bond reduction or nothing like that. I just sat in there. I fought it for a year. End up getting probation. You know, either way it go, you know, I was, however it came, I was gonna fight it. You know, I wasn't just gonna accept what they was trying to give me, especially being that it's my first case or whatever. Knowing that it's, you know, if anybody know law, if it's some type of loopholes. A lot of these cases, especially where I'm from, it's real prejudice. Like, you know, I don't know if nobody know, but it's like it's the number 2 worst place for African Americans to live in America.
What city?
Peoria, Illinois. And it was actually number 1 just not that long ago. And, you know, I've been living here all my fucking life, you know what I mean? And I'm firsthand can tell you how it is, you know what I mean? It's real prejudice. It's undercover prejudice, but you see it, though, you know what I mean? And, like, anybody that's, you know, you black, you going to jail, you get caught for something like that, they trying to give you the most time they can, you know. And if they can't, they want some type of conviction, but they don't want to let you go without putting a flag on you, period. You know what I mean? They not trying to let you go, so it's just real kind of messed up there and shit, you know, but I just fought it, you know what I mean? I had my family working with me. Like I said, the pastor, you know, he working for me, different people that I had in my corner, you know, helping me fight it, you know, got was what I think is what got it down, because if it wasn't for that, being that I didn't know so much law at the time, you know what I mean? So I really didn't know what I was dealing with. That was my first case ever. And you know, so they was trying to railroad me, you know, but you know, thank God, you know, I had people fighting for me, you know.
Did you have an attorney?
No, a public defender, you know what I mean? But we pushed his ass, we worked his ass. I wasn't taking, you know, no for an answer, period. So, or I'd have fired his ass, you know what I mean? And had him made him prolong the case and give me another public defender, you know, before I let somebody just sell me up the river, you know. I can do that myself. But, you know, I ain't have to deal with that, thank God, you know. I don't know, I think from all the things that was going on, even my public defender, probably from him getting to know me for so long, talking to me, actually asking me what type of things I got going on and what, you know, just seeing what type of person I am while we talking, so he can help however he can. He actually probably felt compassion for me that he probably didn't think he would. And I remember coming to court on my trial date. I had a trial date with another kid, you know, who had a gun case. And, you know, he was representing him too. And so he come back to the bullpen, he tell me like, I'm gonna send you back to the county today. We're not gonna do your trial today because I got this other kid going in here. And he like, the press is in here, the newspaper, you know, and the judge is finna fucking slam this kid. And for you to come in right after him with a gun case, it's likely he fucking slam you too, you know? And so I'm like, okay, well, send me back to the county, you know, or whatever. And then what's so crazy, when I go back to the county, this how dirty they is though, mind you. I go back to the county, watch the news that night, 10 o'clock news. The kid ended up getting 24 years for his case. I was locked up in the same pile with his brother. Mind you, this is his older brother. So to see your brother get some type of time like that, you know, it's just, you know, so he, you know, it fucked him up, you know what I mean? So he like really fucked up in the pile, you know, he going off, you know, he mad, of course, you know what I mean? But it's nothing he can do, he in here with us too, shit, you know what I mean? But after a while, after, you know, all these years and shit, I think he might have did a few years or whatever. But I think after I got out of jail, you know, after so long, I had been out of jail for maybe a couple of years. I hear about him getting out. But not only did he get out, he got out early because they basically over-sentenced him. So he ended up getting money for some of the time that he spent in there, you know, for, you know, because they over-sentenced him too much. He was a juvenile, you know what I mean? They charged him as a, because he was, when he came in, he was 16 when they charged him with all that time, you know, or whatever, when he was supposed to be, you know, but they'll find a way to try to railroad you if they can get away with it, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's just crazy how that situation ended up turning out and how they end up having to let him out, you know what I mean? Because where we from, they gonna send you up the river. Football numbers guaranteed. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it just is what it is.
They offered you plea deals for your case?
Well, they offered me 8 at first on the Class X, which is 85%, so I'm gonna do maybe 7 years, 6.5 years or something like that before I be able to even get parole free or anything, you know. And but like I said, then they end up bringing that down, offered me 7.5 years, which is no fucking difference, you know what I mean? But, you know, just after fighting it so long, they end up dropping the total class from an X to a Class 2, so it changed the time. You know, now I'm able to get whatever time I get, I can get 50% on it, you know? And then, you know, they count whatever time I spent in the county jail, you know, whatever, day for day. At that time, they did. But you know, I got end up with probation. You know, thank God.
When were you first able to see your first child while you were locked up? After childbirth is complete, how soon after that?
I got out of jail February that next year. I seen her. The first time I seen her, I can't remember exact time, but you know, like her mom and her family and shit wasn't too fond of me and shit at the time, you know. And so, you know, I basically had her a bunch of shit that I was trying to get to her, you know, clothes, little couple shoes and little clothes and shit, you know. And so she had ended up, you know, my baby mama ended up like meeting me somewhere and shit to see her. You know, she was like almost 9 months already.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, because she would end up being born when I went in March. She ended up being born that June. And, you know, so by the time I got out of jail, you know, she walking and shit, you know what I mean? Cutest fucking thing I ever fucking seen, you know what I mean? And first thing I do when I see her, you know, I give her a kiss on her cheek, you know? And she like got the kiss or whatever, and then she like looked at me and like turned and like pointed to her other cheek like, you know, kiss this one too, you know, and shit. And that was like the first time, that was my first encounter with her, you know, and shit. And it was crazy, you know. And it's my first baby, so it's just so crazy. And she looked exactly like me, you know what I mean? Like crazy how much she looked like me, you know. But, you know, yeah, that was the experience, you know. It was life-changing, most definitely, you know. But, you know, like I said, I was ready by then, you know what I mean? I had went through all this, finally got out, and, you know, like I said, I was mentoring with the pastor, and he ended up giving me my first job, so, you know, I wasn't having to, you know, be in the mix, you know, I can go to work and I can provide for my baby, you know what I mean? So I was thankful, shit, you know.
So you didn't see pictures of her or anything before you actually met her for the first time?
No, nothing.
Tears of joy? Did you even tear up?
No, I didn't cry or nothing like that. I kind of wanted to while I was in jail, you know what I mean, thinking about her, you know, and knowing that, you know, her mom finna have to go through this without me being out here, and, you know, for whatever it's worth, you know, and, you know, so then I really, really felt some type of way, you know, by the time I got out and, you know, I was able to see her, you know, I just was ready, you know what I mean, I was just happy and ready to see her, you know, but I don't know, I'm not too big on really crying, you know what I mean, like, that's not a thing of mine to do.
How far apart before the other two children come into the mix?
6 years. My daughter was 6 by the time I had my son. He my second oldest. He's 6 now. And yeah, it had been a 6-year gap between them. But
same baby mother for both, or all three?
I got 2 different baby moms. But the last 2 got the same mom.
Now, as far as the music, have you incorporated your children into the music at all? Like sometimes you'll see an artist, maybe, I forgot which art. I think maybe 2 Chainz had a song and would incorporate, like, you know, the baby's voice in some of the songs, or, you know, a skit or something like that. Have you ever done something like that?
No, I tried one time with my son, but he kind of, you know, he got behind. He was just a little bit younger then, but he'd get behind the mic and he'd, you know, kind of get a little shy or whatever, you know. He's actually on my album cover. On my latest album I just dropped, so.
Glorious Bastard.
Yeah, he's my album cover.
Have kids changed your music or the direction of your music?
Yeah, I would say so, because they changed really the direction of my life. You know, when I was young, you know, before I had kids, you know, I was just kind of wild, you know. I used to hear, you know, just rumors and hearsay from people saying, you know, if I don't be in jail by a certain time, you know, I'm gonna be dead by a certain time. You know what I mean? But that's how much I was, you know, in the streets and shit, you know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of people didn't know all the shit that they was talking about or know all what was going on, but, you know, people just probably used to hear my name a lot, you know, because I just used to be into shit, you know what I mean? But, you know, once I had my kids, you know, once I had my daughters, this was like, shit, you know, I don't got no time for that shit, you know. I realized, like, even while I was in jail, like, a lot of the shit that I used to get into was really not for me, you know, like, I used to really just thinking about it now, you know, thinking about it as I'm older, I look at myself and I just feel like I used to be kind of a bully, you know? Even though at the time I thought I was doing right, you know, because all I was doing was really taking up for my friends and shit, you know? Come to find out, you know, these not even really my fucking friends, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers I'm riding for and they wouldn't do the same for me, you know what I mean? But I didn't know at the time, blind at the time, you know, some niggas I'm just a loyal person, you know? So I'm down for my niggas, you know what I mean? And at the time, like I said, you know, we really had a rough ass life, you know what I mean? So we did all the fighting and all that shit before I even got to fucking middle school. You know what I mean? So by the time I got to middle school, you know, we still fighting and shit, but everybody around the town where we grew up, motherfuckers know who I am already. You know what I mean? As far as fighting wise and shit like that. So by the time I got to high school, nobody fucked with me. You know what I mean? Like nobody said, oh, they want to do something to me. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody already knew what was going on with me. You know what I mean? So everybody I ended up getting into it or it being something with, it was because I'm riding for these niggas, you know what I mean, and shit. But when I went to jail, I had nobody. Montana, you know, that's my brother though, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he always was there, you know. All I had was my, you know, all them friends was nowhere around and shit, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm hearing bad rumors about them and shit too. By the time I get out, and once I did get out, you know, I had to be on, you know, I had 4 years probation, but my first year was intense, so I had to sit in a fucking house almost, you know, I got 7 to 7, so, you know, and these motherfuckers, they popping up on me, you know what I mean? Like, I ended up working and shit, so I was working the whole time, you know, I'm not getting into nothing, you know, I'm just working and shit. You know, they used to pop up at my job and shit, so wasn't me getting into none of this no shit, I wasn't out after 7 o'clock, you know what I mean? And shit, so that kept me out of a lot of shit too. Cause it was still shit going on, you know what I mean? Even like with Tony and shit, and you know, they still beating up motherfuckers and shit. I'm hearing about it and shit, but you know, God know how to orchestrate shit. I was in a position where I had to stay out the way, you know, which was good for me. But, you know, I don't know, they most definitely changed everything.
Do you let your kids listen to your music?
Yeah, I do. You know, I know they don't understand everything, you know what I mean, but, you know, I do let them listen because some are our biggest fans, you know, like my kids, they FGE crazy, if, you know, FGE every fucking thing, you know what I mean, and so that's all they listen to, you know. They listen to other things too, but they really big fans of ours, you know. I mean, so yeah, I let them listen.
Do they have aspirations of music themselves at all?
Oh yeah, my oldest daughter, she is in choir. My youngest, she just turned 5, you know, so she haven't been into too much, but she sings all the time. She likes to sing. My son, he likes to rap, you know. I think he might want to be a rapper. That's one of the things I use against him as far as homework and schoolwork. You know, I told him, you know, if you want to be a rapper like me, then you got to know how to be able to read and write. You know, that's how I got good, and that's, you know, so I keep him on top of his job that way, you know.
Do all 3 kids get along?
Yeah, crazy. They love each other. They crazy about each other. Most definitely. I remember you know, when my son was born and shit, or when he got old enough to actually say a couple words and shit, maybe it was like a little over 1, maybe 2. you know, he couldn't say much. But as he got older, he used to not let my daughter get on me, not let nobody get on me, you know what I mean? Like, I had him all the time, you know what I mean? So he, this my dad, he used to cry, push my daughter off and get off, move, I said, this is my dad, I said, he had to, cause like she lived with her mom, so she wasn't, I didn't have her every day like I had him, and so he had to kind of get used to the fact that, I had to, tell him, you gotta, she's your sister, I'm her dad too, you know what I mean? And so after he realized that after a while, he crazy about her, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Do you look at kids as an investment?
No, I don't I can't say I look at them as a, of course, invest in them, but I don't look at them as an investment for me to get something out of it. You know what I mean? I just invest in my kids, hoping that when they are older and of age of understanding, that they take care of it and they understand what it was for. You know what I mean? And why I did it. So that they can be able to sustain and be successful themselves. You know what I mean? Other than that, I just want to see them do good,
Good relationship with both mothers?
I wouldn't say it's bad, but we don't really deal too much, as far as, verbally all the time, like all my kids can speak for themselves. So, when I talk, unless it's even a lot of times, like my daughter, she 12. My youngest, my son, he's 6, but he bright as hell. So he able to relay any message, that needs to be anything they need, they can speak for themselves. So I just really deal with them more than anything.
Is it tough to deal with 2 baby mothers? Some people can have a tough time with one.
I wouldn't say it's tough. Not really at all. Only, I wouldn't say it's tough at all, really.
Do the mothers get along with each other?
From what I hear, I don't really too much, like I said, communicate too much with them, but from what I hear, they've spoken, they speak or became friends at some point in time and, communicated at some point in time. I don't know how much they do now, but, from what I know, they cool.
You have 3 children. Do you have a favorite child?
No, I can't say I have a favorite, but just probably real fond of my son because he's my only boy that I have, you know what I mean? And so that's just something that's real big to me, and that's my prince, I gotta make sure he gotta be the man, out of all of them. When they all grow up, he still's gonna be the man, you know what I mean? So you gotta look out for them, and so, that's probably what, I'll probably say I'm a little more fond of my son, maybe.
I can understand that. Now, easy or hard maintaining a music career and having children?
I say it kind of get a little rough, especially when, we setting tours and, we gone for maybe a whole month or 2, you know what I mean? And, I know my kids, my oldest daughter, she's pretty fine with me being gone, you know what I mean? Not being around, she's been not around me for a while, you know what I mean? So she can handle that, you know what I mean? But my son, they getting used to it now because they're a little older and it's been kind of picking up more now as they are older. But, it used to be times where my son, like, couldn't be not around him for too long, you know what I mean? Or even now, I think he has some issues, like he got anger issues, and shit, so. And I think some of it might stem from just he can't be around me as much as he used to because I'm not with his mom, no more, And so he can't be around me as much as he used to, so I think kind of affect him a little bit, you know, but I talk to him all the time, and, you know, I make sure he's still honor roll student. He still, you know, he just kind of has a little anger issue, like kind of pouts a little extra more than he, you know, normally probably would. But besides that, I think we balance it out, you know, as much as we could. You know, I know they understand, you know, when I tell them that he gotta work, you know, I gotta go out of town. They be excited because they know what I do, but at the same time, you know, it take a little, you know, from missing me, you know, it'd be a little bit hard, you know. But other than that, other than just missing them, you know, I think it'd be all right.
Ever taken them on the road with you?
No, not yet.
Too young?
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Now, was it easier or harder having more kids as you had them? For instance, was it easier to have the second child because you already had some familiarity having a first child? And was it easier having a third child since you already had two before?
Yeah, it was way easier. Actually, my son, you know, he wasn't planned, you know, but it was easier because I knew how to be a dad already. You know, I knew what could come along with it, you know. But my last daughter, my baby, she was planned. You know, I knew that she was gonna be coming, you know, and so yeah, it got easier every time. You know?
Hardest part about having multiple children for you? Could be a variety of things, but what's the hardest?
Just really being that, you know, they got two different moms, you know, so to make sure that they bond stay strong, you know, that I get them and I can, you know, get them to make sure that they in tune with each other, you know, more than anything, you know. And besides that, because they all know my love, you know, so that's just really the biggest thing, making sure that, you know, it's different levels to him. You know, like I said, my daughter 12, you know, my son, he's 6, but he's a boy, you know, so it's different. You know, I gotta treat him a little bit different ways, you know what I mean? But other than that, you know, just making sure I can keep they behind what it's supposed to be, you know, is my biggest thing.
Best thing about having multiple children?
I get all the love. You know, like my kids love me, you know, like they look like me, they love me to death, you know what I mean, and they changed my life if it wasn't for them, you know what I mean. I know for a fact I would not be thinking the way that I think now, you know. I live for them, you know what I mean, and so, you know, I do everything making sure that I can get back to them, you know, and I can build for them. So, you know, they my motivation, you know what I mean. They everything.
Give us some advice, okay? Give us some, somebody watching this, give us some do's and don'ts, either when it comes to maintaining a music career and having multiple children, or having to deal with having multiple baby mothers, either or. So give us advice, do's or don'ts on maintaining a career, having children, or having to deal with multiple mothers.
I can give you some advice on both, you know, as far as maintaining a career. You just got to make sure that you got a relationship with your kids, you know, make sure if they at an age of understanding where they can understand some of the things that's going on and what you do, make sure that they know that and that, you know, they can become comfortable with it, you know what I mean, to understand what's going on instead of just missing you and not understanding why you gone so much, or, you know, certain things like that, you know what I mean. Just making sure you keep your kids aware and you keep your bond with them strong, you know, so it doesn't matter how far or how long you away, they ready for you when you come back, you know what I mean, and they understand that you have to be gone, you know. And as far as having different baby moms, I just feel like it's just all about the relationship, you know. I don't, you know, like I was on child support, you know, and right now I mean, I'm still on child support, but I got an out-of-court agreement, you know? So it's just really, we work things out between us, you know? And that's with both of them. And, you know, they understand all what's going on. And I just about, you know, keeping an understanding with them. If you got 2 different baby moms, you know, if you're not with them, I would suggest you keep, you know, your relationship, you know, on good terms. You know, I try my best not to, you know, I mean, they probably, I really don't argue or do none of that with them, you know what I mean? Sometimes I have back and forth. Well, I ain't gonna say back and forth. I get little comments maybe from my youngest to mom, you know. But I think it's more just emotions than she really got a problem with me, you know what I mean? But other than that, just keeping everything cordial, you know, making sure that you taking care of your business for your kids. If you're doing what you're supposed to, and it shouldn't be any problems, you know what I mean? So just take care of your business, you know, make sure that, you know, everything's cordial. You know, you don't want to have a bad relationship with your kid's mother if you're not already not with her. You know what I mean? So it's already an issue for your kids. The kids is the biggest thing. You know what I mean? It's not about your baby mamas. You know what I mean? It's about making sure that the kids is okay. So that's what the biggest thing I would say.
Are you done having children?
I'm done as of now. If I get a wife and, you know, maybe, you know, she might want to have some kids, I consider it. But other than that, I don't plan on having any more. You know, I'm pretty much done.